This is Dylan Fertel for Broadcast News, and today I have a very special interview with the Mayor of Fort Pierce, Ms. Linda Hudson. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and doing this interview. I know my classmates are interested in finding out more about what it's like to be a mayor of Fort Pierce. Would you mind answering some questions?
I'd be happy to.
When did it occur to you that you wanted to become the mayor, and why?
Very late in life. It wasn't something that I planned to do. I got interested in the budget of Fort Pierce and started paying attention to where the money came from and where the money went. And so I started going to the budget meetings, and I was the only citizen there. And they didn't know what to do with me because they're like, oh no, somebody's interested in the budget, right? And so then I got appointed to the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee. And then so that was 2010 and 11. And then my friends and associates said, you know so much about the budget, why don't you run for mayor? And so I kind of fell for the flattery, like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And so I started a year and a half ahead of time of the election because nobody knew who I was. And so I ran for mayor. And so the filing is in 2012. And then the primary was in August. And I came out of the primary with one opponent. So we were heading for a runoff. The runoff was in November. And then in November, I ended up winning by 61 votes after 3 recounts, 1 mandatory recount.
How long have you been mayor of Fort Pierce?
I was elected in November of 2012, and I was sworn in December of 2012. And so I was re-elected in 2016. I was unopposed, so I didn't have an opponent. And in 2020, I've just been re-elected. So that would be a little over 8 years, I think.
What exactly are your duties as mayor?
Well, one of the biggest duties is running the commission meetings. And so I'm the only female. And so I'm in the middle of the dais, and then I have 2 gentlemen on my right and 2 gentlemen on my left. And so my job is to keep order and run the meetings and try to have an efficient city business meeting. So that's one of the main goals, duties. And another duty is to represent the city in all kinds of activities, events, people's celebrations, ribbon cuttings, on committees, with other cities. So you're kind of the face of the city. You're supposed to be, you kind of promote the city and market the city, and you always want to put the city's best foot forward. But really, I don't have any more power than the other commissioners, although they're elected in districts. So there's District 1 and District 2. So there are 2 commissioners from District 1, which is the north part of Fort Pierce, and 2 from District 2, which is the south part of Fort Pierce. And my vote counts. I have to run citywide. They only run in district. My vote counts the same as theirs. So it's kind of much more of an ambassador type job that's a little bit different, although all the commissioners are supposed to be promoting Fort Pierce.
What do you plan to accomplish in the town of Fort Pierce going forward?
Well, one of my biggest goals is to make Fort Pierce not only safe, but people think it's safe. And that's a big challenge because people have a idea that Fort Pierce isn't safe. And I know it is, and you know it is, because we live here. But there's a lot of people that think it isn't because of adverse things that have happened in the past and also because of news reports. So that's my biggest goal.
What's your favorite part of the job? What makes it your favorite part?
Well, it is visiting schools when I'm invited. because I like to talk to young people and talk about Fort Pierce and what makes it different from county government and state government. But I haven't been able to do that because of COVID. So we've just kind of all had to learn to work differently because of the pandemic.
What's your favorite event every year that you take part in?
My favorite event? Oh, that's a tough one. I love the Young Floridian Scholarship presentation by the St. Lucie Chamber. And I love giving the State of the City address about what Fort Pierce has accomplished. I like that. So there's lots of favorite events.
My mom is not a fan of having to drive to do our shopping. Do you think Fort Pierce will ever get a Target or other big stores, Sam's Club, Costco, Trader Joe's? Those would all be great to have closer.
Yeah, so many people have the same wish. And one of the things that happens is these national stores, these big box stores, they do their studies and they make a decision based on what they think will be a success rate for their store. And those studies usually include how many people live in the area and have discretionary income to spend. And so far, Fort Pierce doesn't make that grade. So it isn't the city of Fort Pierce that's the problem, it's our demographics, if you understand what I mean. And so we would love that, and we the city, have engaged a firm to help us recruit retail stores. So we're working on that.
Do you think the town has improved since you become mayor?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do think it has. There's a lot of really physical improvements with some of the improved streeting and lighting, and also when I became mayor, downtown stores were empty. Now they're full. When I became mayor, there were a lot of things that weren't happening, and now we're working on them. And so I think I can brag a little bit about that, but also people who come back or who come to tell me, oh, this place has really changed. So I feel like there's so much positive going on in Fort Pierce right now.
What accomplishment as mayor are you most proud of? Why?
So I think bringing the city together and trying to unify the city, because there's been a historical racial divide in our city. And that was one of the things that I wanted to bring together, the two sides of the town, and because we're all one town, and I want everybody to be on the same page. And if we're not, let's have a robust discussion about that. And so I think my attempts, I'm not saying that we've gotten there yet, my attempts at trying to bring everybody into the same tent is what I'm most proud of.
One final question. Do you have any pets? And if you do, have you ever brought them to the office?
That question is funny. I do have pets, and I have a cat right now. I did have 2 cats, and but I've never brought him to the office, and that would not be a good thing because he's very needy. And so he's unlike other cats who are aloof. So he thinks everybody loves him, and he wants to drool all over everybody. So that would not be a big success.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great success during your next 4 years.
Well, thank you very much, Sterling. I enjoyed it.
This is Sterling Pertelt for Broadcast News, and that was the Mayor of Fort Pierce, Ms. Linda Hudson. Back to you in the studio.